Hong Kong 50 technical analysis, and we're on the weekly chart. And let's see what do we see on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we have a very strong level of support at this point over here, if I can just mark it. And the last time we spoke about this chart, we had mentioned that the market could possibly give us the second leg of that double bottom, and we may potentially see the market actually push further up. And another thing that I see that is also very much interesting is that if we were to look at this week or last week's weekly candle, we can see that it's a very strong bullish candle, and it tells us that there's a very big possibility that we may see actually the market move further up. That's what I see at face value. Let's have a look. What else do we see in regards to the weekly chart of Hong Kong 50? And as much as I'm saying that last week we had this very strong bullish candlestick, and that it may indicate that we may be getting ready to see price move further up, just also bear in mind that we have this area over here. It is a very strong level of resistance, as we had multiple rejections at that level, as you can see. To add to that, at the very same level, the market had given us what is a double top here, and it also has a neckline there. So this is a very strong level of resistance, and as much as I'm saying that we may potentially see the market shoot up, it is quite possible that we may get a rejection of sorts. If I can just mark the level, just bear with me. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. And as I said, it is also the neckline of this M structure over here, right? So we may see price at this point bounce off of that level and then continue to move further down, especially because, guys, remember, I always say that whenever we have these patterns, what normally happens is that a lot of investors and traders buy at that point and they place their stop losses below, right? So we may see price from this level actually bounce off of that level and then push further down to grab that liquidity here, and then only potentially move further up. So we just need to be careful. And also, if we were to use the Fibonacci retracement tool, let's have a look. I just want to see if the neckline of that M structure actually aligns with any key numbers that we have on the tool. Let's have a look, let's have a look, let's have a look. There we go, more or less. Let's see. So I think we can see that the neckline, which is also here, and which is also a very strong level of resistance, as we had multiple rejections at that level, right? It's the neckline, as I said, of this M structure. We can see that it aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, and that adds as confluence in as far as looking for potential sell opportunities goes at that level. So there's quite a strong chance that we may get a sell here, where we see the market actually move further down, right? We just need to be careful. Let me just actually delete this. So remember, guys, we have number one, this double top. Number two, we have this level being a very strong level of resistance. To add to that, it is the neckline of that M structure, and also it aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level. So this may be a good area to look for potential sell opportunities, right? It may be a very good area to look for potential sell opportunities. However, having said that, let's head down to the daily chart and see what's happening there before we actually make any decisions. And here we are on the daily chart. Let's just see. On the daily chart, I'm just going to start off by actually adding my daily channel. Let's have a look. Just bear with me, guys. So there goes my daily channel, more or less. There we go, right? And just a reminder that we just need to ensure that whatever drawings that we do indeed add to our charts are as close to perfection as possible. And just to recap, guys, remember, let me just zoom in a bit. On the weekly chart, we spoke about how the market had given us this double top here, and we said it has a neckline at that point. And not only is this neckline the neckline of this double top, it's also a very strong level of resistance, as we had multiple rejections in and around that area. And as I said, we may get another rejection here, right? And at that point, we may see price move further down, right? We also said that the neckline also aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement tool, right? Another thing that we spoke about, if I can just zoom out again, is that we said, because the market had given us the structure, a lot of people bought here and placed their stop losses just below, So it is quite possible that we may see the market from this level move further down to grab all of those stop losses. But here we are on the daily chart. Let's see what else is happening in regards to the daily chart. Another thing that I also want to bring to your attention is that as much as I'm saying that the market had given us the structure and that at this point we may possibly see it move further down, just also bear in mind that we have an opposing structure in the form of an overextended double bottom, which similarly has a neckline at that point. In fact, I'm just going to add my neckline as well. Let's have a look. So we could say that this is our neckline more or less, and just also a reminder that necklines are areas and not so much lines like I have. So for the purposes of making sure that my charts are clean, I'll just add a line, right? I just add lines, right? But we could say that this whole area over here, right, is the neckline of this W structure. So it's not a line, right? It's an area, right? So going back to what I was saying, can you guys see that we have two opposing structures? Number one, as I said, we have this, which has a neckline there, excuse me. Number two, we have this W structure, which similarly has a neckline there, right? So this means that buying or selling within this region is actually very, very risky, because what may happen is that we may potentially see price, remember it gave us this W structure, came back to the level to test it, and at that point we may see it head down. To add to this, because we have an opposing structure in the form of this W, which has a very strong level of support here, and the very same level is the neckline of the W, we may see price again come back to this level to test it, and at that level is where we may see it head up again, right? So it makes buying or selling, for that matter, within this region very, very tricky, right? I'm just going to add, or rather use the Fibonacci retracement tool. Let's see if the neckline of this W structure actually aligns with any key numbers. Let's see, and the neckline, which is over here, we could say more or less aligns with between the 23.6 as well as the 38.2, right, which is not that strong in my very humble opinion. It's not the same as this level, which aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement tool, right? So anyway, this level over here is still a very strong level of support, and price may come here, and at this level we may look for potential buy opportunities, or the market may push further up, right? So as I said, buying or selling here is a bit tricky, but let's head down to the H4 chart and see if we can't possibly get around this, right? And let's have a look. And here we are on the H4 chart, and just to recap again, guys, remember on the daily chart, we said the market gave us this W structure, right, which has a neckline there, and we said price may come back to that level to test it, and at that level is where we may possibly see the market move up, right? We had also spoken about how the market had given us a double top here on the daily chart, which also has a neckline there, and we said we may potentially see price go all the way to that level, and at this level push further down. I hope you guys can see that. Excuse my not so good drawings, but as I said, guys, buying or selling here is tricky. But here we are on the H4 chart, and on the H4 chart we can also see that we are in an upward trending market, or an upward trajectory, right? I'm just gonna add my channel as well. Let's have a look. Just bear with me. I just hope my drawings are not too confusing, but let's have a look. Right, and what else do we see, guys? What else do we see? Remember, the market right here is at a very strong level of resistance and the neckline of the double top, and we said at this point we may potentially see the market move further down, right? But here we are. Just to zoom in, we can see that at this very strong level of resistance, the market has given us what seems to be a triple top of sorts, and I know that a lot of people have already started selling at that point. Another thing that indicates, or that gave other people reason to sell, is that we have this pin bar over here. Yes, it's a bullish pin bar and not so much a bearish one, but to some people it's an indication that they need to sell. And I also know that a lot of people are actually waiting for price to actually close below this trend line over here, or this flag, and once price closes here as well as closes below this neckline of this double top, a lot of people are going to sell, right? The only issue that I have with this is that, remember, we have an opposing structure in the form of a W structure over here, which has a neckline there, and yes, you may sell here only for the market to bounce off of this level and only again move further up to trigger your stop losses, right? So again, buying or selling for that matter within this region is actually very, very risky, and myself at this point in time, I would not make any entries. However, having said that, I'm just gonna actually add a channel to that structure. Let's see. There goes my smaller channel. I just hope my lines are not too confusing, guys. Let's see. Right, and remember, guys, I said that price at this point in time is at a very strong level of resistance, and to add to that, we can see that the market is starting to lose some steam here, where it's starting to move sideways. To add to that, we also can see that the market had given us what seems to be a triple top, right? And a lot of people have already sold, putting their stop losses just above. And as I said, others are waiting for price to close below this channel or to break it, as well as to close below this neckline of this double top here. I hope you guys can see that. And once that happens, a lot of people will be selling, right? But as I said, my only concern is that we have this very strong level of support, as we had multiple rejections there. The very same area is the neckline of that W structure that we spoke about, and I said at this point we may potentially see the market push further up, right? So in conclusion, I'm gonna say that in as far as buying or selling goes at this point in time, I would not buy and I would also not sell. I'd rather wait for price to actually get to this level, and at this level is where I may consider looking for potential buy opportunities, right? And just to go to the daily chart, on the daily chart, right, the safest thing to do, right, before looking for potential buy opportunities in general, is to actually wait for price to close outside of this channel, right? Once price closes outside of this channel, then we know that we would then wait for the market to come back to these levels, right? This would be a very strong level of support, and it will also be a key level, and a lot of large financial institutions and insurers will wait for the market to come back to this level, and at that point is where a lot of them will attempt to push the market up to at least this level over here, because it's a very strong level of resistance, as you guys can see. I hope you guys can see that, right? But in conclusion, just to go back to the H4 chart, yeah, remember we have this triple top. People sold here, placed their stop losses above, and this may be a trap, right? It may be a trap because we've been taught that on the third as well as on the second peak, that's where we actually look for potential sell opportunities, right? So price may break this as well to induce more people to sell and place more stop losses there, and then it may head to this level, and at this level, because it is a very strong level of support as well as the neckline of that W structure, we may then from this level see the market continue to move further up, triggering all of those stop losses that are located there.